Hey guys, so today we're making some bacon potato salad. Right now, what I'm doing is I got some water in the background going. We're gonna dice these potatoes. Not too big, not too small. Oops, sorry about that. Dropped my dropping my phone there. Uh, Unfortunately, I don't exactly have a, a, a way to prop it up properly quite yet. And while you're waiting for the water to boil, you can obviously get these potatoes cut up. Uh, that's how I did it. Obviously, while we're doing that, uh, we got everything else going. So we're about to get the bacon out here shortly. Uh, Pretty much what I'm trying to do is aim the camera more towards the food instead of just purely out in the living space, my living room, pretty much. Obviously, when you're doing this, obviously be careful when doing so with your knife, as I am doing it here. Uh, like I said, uh, doesn't matter what size you cut these potatoes at. Regardless, they'll take about at least an hour to cook completely through. Because you just mostly what you want to do is make sure that they're nice and soft, but not too soft to the point to where uh, they're mashed potatoes, pretty much. I'm cutting about 5 pounds right here, so you can do this in bulks batches. So say for a family gathering, Christmas, whatever the situation is, you you can do this recipe. You just have to double everything. Um, so for this, I once we get there, finishing up right now here. Now I decided to cut one more. Yeah, just one more. Obviously, sometimes potatoes do stick to your knife, so just be careful when doing that. When you're doing it, obviously, I'm always using a cutting board. All right, all right. just threw the potatoes in. While we're getting those cooking, we're gonna get everything else going at this point. So we're gonna grab in my fridge, just so you guys know, I'm grabbing 2 things of cucumbers and, as you can see, about a pound of bacon. I use a mayo, of course, because it wouldn't be bacon potato salad without mayo. Um, the other thing I did grab was lemon juice. You can use fresh or just the store bought. Um, like I said, I used about I threw the bacon into the oven to instead of putting it in a pan and cooking it. It just kind of made it easier to do so this way. I'm using a half sheet tray pan. So, what I should have done was actually use the whole pack for this instead of half of it. I only did half only because of the simple fact that you know, I'm the only one that's going to be eating this. So I just wanted it to be a little bit less. But yeah, you want to ignore doing half a pound. You can just do the full. You can just do one full thing of one whole pack of bacon, and obviously make sure you use this. You can use a sheet pan, half sheet pan, or sheet pan, or whatever you have to cook your bacon in. Obviously, like I said, the sheet tray was my best. My half sheet tray was the best option, so here we are. And you'll see that I'm just laying it all out like so. And I think I do like a couple more pieces here. Yeah, I do. And then once we get the bacon going, yeah, I move it around a little bit to give the bacon a little bit more space so I can put more on. Just a little bit. Obviously, you don't want your bacon to overlap, but you gotta do what you gotta do for that. And that's pretty much me saying I only used half, but obviously you want to use the whole. You want to use the whole pack. There's bacon going in the oven. I put the bacon in. The oven temp was, I believe, 400 Fahrenheit, and then got our cucumbers here. All we're literally going to be doing with these cucumbers is cutting the ends off, like so, as you see here, and then we're going to just cut these in half at first, with both here. Obviously, I'm always using the same knife because that's how I do it. Then I'm gonna use a spoon to de-seed the seeds for this, and you want to go very gently with them, because if you press too hard, the cucumber will break while you're trying to de-seed the cucumber. So just go very gently. You can use a spoon like I did. You can use a metal teaspoon, or you know whatever whatever you have pretty much will work uh, for this for that part. So regardless, just be careful when you're doing that because it is a pain to have to, you know, take take it take your grab the other half of the cucumber if you split it in half and it isn't deseeded. So, and then all we're gonna be doing here is just doing a small dice of cucumber. Uh, Obviously, cutting them both here, but I'm only doing one at a time here. And here comes my phone. It's about to fall off here, just like so. uh, Again, sorry. I am still trying to figure a way to prop it, prop my phone properly, so that uh, it doesn't do that. And that's when I just noticed, and then it falls on the like so. Sorry about that. Uh, Unfortunately, I was trying to go a little too fast, and obviously my table couldn't quite handle it, uh, and neither could my phone. So I had to slow down. I had to slow down a little bit. To, and as you can see, I also have, of course, you know it happens again. Also, uh, even though I was like taking my time. Uh, as you'll see, I have cloth underneath my cutting board there. That's just to help make sure that my cutting board doesn't move. Obviously, this is how it's done in the restaurant industry. Uh, at least at most places do this. Uh, Obviously, you can use a clean towel or a dirty towel that you're not going to use. Uh, for that, I used a hand towel uh, for this because I didn't have any towels at the time. And this is me going a little bit slower, so it doesn't make my phone fall over again. Because I go pretty quick with my cuts here. So, but that's what tends to happen when you've been prepping and cutting stuff on the daily. And then we got some green onion or scallions here. Uh, Obviously, be careful when you're doing that. With the bag, I just did it that way because I was lazy. Not, I'm just gonna say it. I was being lazy. uh, you, I used about two for this. You should use about 4. Uh, I think I did use 4 for this. I think. Yeah. Also, be careful when you're doing that. Uh, cutting the taking the sticker off. And obviously, if any of your scallions look limpy or just don't look very good, just toss them. You know. Okay, I used about 3 here, but you should probably go for. Oh, yep. Now I'm checking my potatoes, checking them. They weren't quite done quite yet. At this point, um, cut your ends off. You can actually save the ends and regrow them and reuse them over again. And then my phone falls down again here. uh, like a, sorry about that. And this is me just taking my time with the cutting, so my phone doesn't fall over this time. And I go all the way through till it gets to be about the lightish green, because we don't want the white parts for this. They'd be good. They'd be great for soups or regrowing or whatever. Um, that's a little hack there, food hack. You can reuse scallions by just regrowing them. All you gotta do is get some soil and have plenty of sunlight, heat, and I'm converting all this stuff into a bowl. So I have right now. All I have in there at this point is the cucumbers, the scallions, and we're about to throw all the mayo in. I used about. That's me checking the bacon, making sure that it's not burnt. Uh, I used about half. I used about half. One, might as well say a quart of mayo for this. You should go for at least 2. At least 2, unless you're doing it like I am, then just do like 1 quart. Um, but if you're doing this for your family, and say you got quite a few people that want to eat this, or you want to make this for the family, you can use 10 pounds of potatoes, use 2 quarts of mayonnaise, and then 4 cucumbers, de-seeded. It has to be de-seeded, as well as 4 scallions. And that's just me getting the rest of that mayo taken care of. And then I'm just mixing in the mayonnaise and stuff. I'm gonna mix in the cucumbers and the scallions. I used about, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and then I just dump in the cucumbers and the scallions right in there, and then we're just gonna mix that. You can also add pickle juice to this. What I would recommend it doing is using about about a cup if you're doing the 10 pounds. I would use about a teaspoon or a tablespoon of pickle juice. You can always add more if needed. Just go by taste. Obviously, I'm throwing about a tablespoon of salt there, and pepper as well. And well, you're probably wondering why we're adding the salt and the pepper, the seasonings, and it's because yes, bacon does have has saltiness to it, but because we're not really we're cooking it, but it's not gonna have it'll still have the flavor profile of the bacon, pretty much, and we just want to make sure that the potatoes are the hero, pretty much. I'm grabbing my phone here to go check our potatoes now. And at this point, they they should be done. Now we're gonna check our bacon. Now I'm grabbing bacon out. Because the potatoes aren't quite done yet at this point. They're almost done, but not quite. Obviously, use tongs or whatever you have. Don't be like me and just hold the pan with a hot, like, obviously, sure, I have a I'm holding it with a heat pad, but that heat pad, it's gonna you'll start feeling it after a while. So don't be me and hold it with a heat pad, and then we're gonna actually use the bacon grease and we're gonna dump it right in there, right into the mix with the cucumbers, the scallions, and the mayo, the salt and pepper here. Uh, that's just to give it, that bacon flavor to help give that profile, give it that nice profile. And that's me just bunching on a piece there of bacon to kind of give it a taste test because you always want to taste test everything. I accidentally dropped my phone there. Then I just skewed it. All we're just doing is cutting, cutting it into the bacon into small pieces. Obviously, this bacon is still hot. You'll see that I use a heat pad to to use but I just was like, ah, screw it, I might as well just do it. And then we're just gonna, like I said, just gonna dice it. You want the bacon to be nice and crispy, like how I have it, where it's just easy to just easy to chop in one go. And by the time we're done with that, the potatoes should be done. And then we're just gonna mix this in, like so. I threw in just a little more salt in, just to taste to make sure. And it's not gonna hurt to add a little more. Same thing with pepper. It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt to add more salt or pepper. So if the tablespoon isn't enough, just add more salt to taste, and pepper obviously to taste. As you saw there, I just used my pepper shaker and just did like six shakes of the peppers of the pepper that I use, and then that should be about good. And then here's us testing the potatoes. When it crushes like that, that's when you know your potatoes are done. Just like that. And that's just me obviously double checking, make sure that they're done. Because you never know, because of the simple fact that obviously strain out your water, all the water from your potatoes. This is just me double checking the potatoes to make sure that they're actually done. And then obviously I'm putting the potatoes into a bowl and putting them into the freezer to cool, because we want them to get cooked up, and then we're just gonna I'm gonna throw that into the freezer pretty much. That can take up to an hour, or also it can take up to 4 hours. Alright, now that the potatoes are now cool, we're just gonna pretty much mix pretty much the potatoes with all of the stuff that we already added. And then we're just gonna mix. Just straight up mix. Obviously, use a bigger bowl. This was the only bowl I had available at the time, so you grab the biggest bowl you have to mix all this together with, especially if you're doing 10 pounds. Sure, mine was only 5 and mine wasn't big enough. As you can kind of tell, if you can kind of tell, you can see that I'm kind of struggling with this. And then obviously I go and taste test it once more. If you get good, nice good scoop. This was my dinner for the night. I had pork chops and bacon potato salad for dinner that day. And this is me showing you guys, and that's how it should look like on your plate. So with that all being said and done, guys, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.